There is a special breed of traders existing in small numbers getting close to extinction, and decades ago even Albert Einstein only theorized about them by saying the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again but expecting different results. They hide in the shadows preying on unsuspecting 0-day still expired options, but once they strike they reveal themselves in different forms, like losing more than $500,000 by doing the exact same thing, or losing hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to break even, eventually getting banned from multiple brokers and doing the impossible by losing more than your whole account. And it is my honor to present to you a trader who goes by the name of Fervor. In the past year he's down by $180,000, which is already more than most people are going to lose in their lifetimes. So you'd think his loss ends here, but sadly no. You see, a 180k loss is what you see at least once a week on WallStreetBets. What sets him apart from the rest of the pack isn't his intellect or strategy, not even his deep pockets make him special. No, it's the ability, the dedication to continuously do the same thing expecting different results. And that's why he's down on his all-time chart by 100% or an insanely high $522,571.92 and is left with just $13.08. And not that it matters, but he even got to the point of his brokerage account getting a day trading restriction, which just shows you how deeply Robinhood cares about their users, trying to prevent him from losing that last $13.08. Now looking at the chart, his loss took over 2 years and twice it even looked like he was actually going to make it back. So you can probably guess what his go-to strategy was. Yes, it was nearly 100% 0-day still expiry SPY options with some Tesla in between. If you by any chance don't know what this means, let me just put it like this. It's like going to a casino and putting all your chips on a roulette number just as the ball starts to slow down, thinking, this is it, my lucky moment. Now just imagine doing this repeatedly for 2 years. True dedication. Luckily though, he's 24 years old and made most of this money from crypto in 2021. So it's not like this was his retirement. He comes from a middle class family, but because he made 500k within a few months back in 2021, his concept of money was pretty so yeah, he realized hell isn't a lake of fire, it's having SPY 0-day still expiry puts and seeing SPY slowly increment up the whole day. Now losing your whole account, albeit $500,000 is one thing, but losing more than your whole account is entirely different. You have to be a special type of person to achieve that, and even then only if you're lucky, or should I say unlucky, you might get to experience it once in your whole life. One such trader rightfully earned the nickname Weaponized Autist and goes by the name of Silent Phantom. But before we dive deep into this madness, let's go way back, just so you get a feel for what you have to go through to get to this point. His humble journey filled with exponentially bigger losses starts 6 years ago when he posted his portfolio worth $2,200. As he said that he lost about $190 a year before that when he only had $500, so his beginnings were truly humble, but shortly after he discovered options. And in this case he took Microsoft calls for a ride and almost died from a heart attack, while his account was fluctuating like crazy. But as you might expect, that didn't stop him from trading options. In fact, it only made him more addicted to them, which is why a bit later he lost it all, or $10,625.45. With his chart looking like he didn't even secure a single gain. He was eager to start from nothing, making small gains, but gains nevertheless on Apple calls. And then he just funneled his profits into more YOLOs on options, which started paying off incredibly fast. In just a week he was up by 1500% or $4,057, so he essentially turned $250 into more than 4k. He kept on multiplying his profits and made $1 million, stopped trading options and lived happily ever after. Hell no, on his success he instantly blew it all up and decided to go aggressively full autistic mode. But before that, here is what he supposedly learned. Firstly, don't with Tesla options. Secondly, feel the market. SPY is live, don't hold options overnight, at least not all of your portfolio. He's an autist, so when he goes up bigly, he should buy stocks or withdraw. And finally, trends are fake, so don't trust them. But it looks like he didn't learn a thing, because shortly after he went into an autistic rage at the end of the day and went almost all in into 1 day till expiry options. So yeah, his losses increased to $13,668, but his luck started to turn around as he began making small gains, which he funneled into bigger gains, and those snowballed into a $5,000 gain in just a day. And this is where insanity begins. He somehow got his account to $35,000 and YOLO'd it all into 4 days till expiry Apple calls. After 2 days he was up by 8k with his account being worth 42.6k. So as soon as he woke up, he sold his Apple calls for a bit smaller profit, and then he immediately lost on several options trades, reducing his account value from 40k to 15.7k. But he luckily recovered back to 19.4k, and then he of course went all in into SPY puts expiring tomorrow, because why not? Later he went balls deep into 2 days till expiry Microsoft calls with about $27,000. He was already up by $9,000, but instead of doing what a normal person would do and selling, he bought a lot more of those calls. I didn't find out what happened to that position, but a couple of weeks later he went all in with about $30,000 into 0 days till expiry SPY calls and was surprisingly up by $68,000. But obviously he was on a winning streak and couldn't cash out now. That would be stupid. So he changed it up a bit and went almost all in into 1 day till expiry SPY puts. Well, the next day he posted his all-time chart, with his account being down by 62% or $124,265. Now this loss was already 10 times greater than his last loss, but he still had $75,000 left and an unscratchable itch to lose it all. Now how long do you think it took him? Well, I'm going to spoil it for you. 2 days. Just 2 days and he was down by 99% or $190,522. But with that began his new journey. The journey of getting back to 200k. He started with 3.3k and he got it up to $13,000 quite fast. He continued making gains, getting his account to 21k with his main weapon, 0 days till expiry options. But you know the gist, that didn't last for long, because his account dropped back down to about 5k. I mean, at this point he just feels like he's losing more and more money by trying to break even. And that finally brought us to his most recent impossible loss. He firstly turned 6k to 47k and then into negative 7.5k. So yeah, his account is worth negative $7,536.32. After 2 weeks of constantly getting 10 to 60% daily gains, it just started to seem easy. So he didn't stop at 47k, and it took him just 3 days to go from that to the depths of hell. His weapon of choice, SPX 0 days till expiry options. And his strategy was quite simple. He would just go all in on calls or puts and then sell and rebuy once he thought it would move in one direction, and repeat 3 times a day. In fact, his strategy is so good that he was already banned from Robinhood and Tally Invest. And if you want to see how this trader turned 45k into $600,000 after blowing up his account 4 times, click on the video just popped up. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe, and if you have any questions or recommendations, leave in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.